We have a question here from Carrie asking about the app support that really enables all of this infrastructure to happen. Carrie, what I would just say is in the athletic department at the University of Michigan, we are exceptionally fortunate. We have an unbelievable, dedicated and talented IT staff. And they're working around the clock. They handle issues as they arise. Certainly on a lower level, but my laptop literally exploded in my office a couple days ago. I was able to call them up, turn it in, and get a new machine in pretty short order. So Jerry Wood is the head of our IT staff, and he and his staff are just phenomenal.
Yeah, and I would agree on campus. One of the staggering stats that we hear every morning on our briefing is the Blue Jeans and Zoom support on campus. That on a normal day on campus, we have about 1,000 Blue Jeans messages or Zoom calls going on. This morning, the stat was over 40,000 per day, and just the infrastructure there. To be able to do that, and also just from student athlete health and welfare, we will use any app that's vetted and good for the athletes. We don't really have specific ones on the athletic medicine side that we use 100% across the board. Our EHR system, Conduct, has a good home exercise program that we'll use there, that we can send to the athletes. MedBridge has some good programs and some good videos, and you can pretty much find anything on YouTube now. So our athletic trainers and strength coaches have been sending a lot of YouTube videos with their home exercise programs. But I do know Caroline and Abigail have some apps that they use.
Yeah, so athletic counseling is solely using Blue Jeans to remain HIPAA compliant. We're not just using it for appointments with student athletes, but we're also utilizing it to connect and coordinate with one another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had our weekly staff meeting yesterday. We used Blue Jeans so that my staff and I could discuss what's going on and plan for the week, discuss, athlete contacts and needs, identifying needs, continuing to communicate and collaborate. I know with reaching out to teams where there's no confidential information, we're using WhatsApp, GroupMe, FaceTime, texting, Gmail, Jump Forward. My most important app is the one where I save all my logins and passwords, to be honest.
And I'll say that Blue Jeans is HIPAA compliant from our medical center. Our MyChart EHR that our health center uses has video visits within MyChart that they are using, and those are up and running. So we do have a lot of apps that we use to communicate directly between everybody. We can directly message in MyChart. We'll use WhatsApp. We use Box to share HIPAA compliant messages or documents. So a lot of different things going on.
Do any of you have to take a pause before you communicate in a certain way to double check in your mind that you're operating in the right ecosystem and that it is compliant, or is it second nature at this point?
I'm not as smart as Caroline and Abigail, so I just stick to one. I stick to Blue Jeans. Blue Jeans and Box is what I use because I know the logins to those, and I don't have to learn how to use a new system. Abigail, on the other hand, knows how to use everything.
The interesting thing for me right now is my whole family is home. My husband's home from work. Both of my kids are college students, and they're doing their online classes and writing papers and taking tests. So when I'm doing a Blue Jeans confidential consult, we all have our own home office now. So we're able to get into our own space, and I'm able to keep those meetings private because I am in the house with on lockdown really with 3 other people.
My home office is also the kitchen, so that locks everybody out of that area. So thinking about, we're I think in athletics by nature, we're forward looking. And at some point this comes to an end. and our athletes return to campus. What, if anything, changes immediately with our operational approach now that student athletes are back on campus, and everything from there now, they've gone from, you know, forms of isolation and quarantine back into an immediate team setting, but also in terms of gearing up for a competitive season. What are some of the early steps that you're all thinking about?
I would say, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with our strength coaches, and starting the conversations with our coaches about whenever that time is, about not doing too much too fast, and having a good ramp up, having a good acclimatization period, to make sure that they're safe. I think now the use of everybody communicating together is even going to be more important, that we're make sure that we're giving athletes enough recovery time. We aren't doing too much too soon. And we're really paying attention to what the athlete and what their bodies are telling us. I am positive and I'm hopeful that this whole crisis completely changes how we do business on a daily basis for the better. Especially at the University of Michigan, because we didn't offer online classes before, and now, you know, for the next 6 months, all of our classes are online. Does that wake people up and say, well, we can offer online classes now? Or just in the workforce globally, you know, a lot of companies were resistant to do work from home or working remotely for employees. And now that it's going to be proven that you can work remotely and still get the same amount of work done or more work done, how does that change what is done overall? So I'm really hopeful for all of this.
Tara, it looks like your coworker is trying to get your attention.
Yeah, she wants more Cheerios, but she's not to wait.
I think one of the things that we're doing within athletic counseling, and the plan is to coordinate this for all of student athlete health and welfare, is we'll push out a survey to our students to check base on how has their day-to-day been, how has their mental health been, how has their routine been, because right now they're really expanding their lives beyond this athletic identity. Right? Before they went from this being like a pivotal part of who they are to really transitioning to, I need to focus on my education wholeheartedly. I need to figure out when I can get workouts in, how I'm going to be feeling beyond that. So our intention is so that we can identify things early before students actually return to campus, is sending out a survey, figuring out what type of services they may benefit from, because if we can identify things early, then we can really ensure or at least mitigate any maladaptive strategies that might come back onto campus with the student. In addition to that, we know that there is going to be a large amount of stress, right? Returning to campus and returning to sport and returning to face-to-face classes. And so athletic counseling has the full intention of having open counseling hours in addition to structured meetings with the teams in order to support them.
I think getting our fueling programs restarted with fueling stations and team meals, and however that's going to look, just, you know, so much is up in the air in terms of the timeline and what the needs are going to be. But I think it also gives me and my staff an opportunity to be present with our teams, to reconnect, welcome new student athletes, keep an eye on people to, you know, identify people who might still be feeling anxious, coordinate with the athletic counseling team, athletic training, and, you know, really do what we do best, is work as a team.